All right, guys. Welcome to another video. The transfer market is hot. Big moves are happening, and over the last few hours, there are some updates that I need to give to you. I'll start from Karim Adeyemi because he has been confirmed as a Barcelona player. Ultimatum Hansi Flick has brought in a player that he really expects to obetimi aboa ne team ni yie pa. Yebedi no ho nkɔmmɔ kakra because I think there's a very special reason why Barcelona decided not to go in for Marcus Rashford, but rather Karim Adeyemi. I'll break that down for you. But before I go on, guys, subscribe to this channel. Turn on your post notifications. I'm dropping new video. You'll be one of the first people to have the notification to watch it and also drop your comments as well. Whatever you think about the transfers, drop it in the comments. Na END to go on. I think I'll stay with Karim Adeyemi because Oshe deal now Barcelona fire for the player. Now he's going to stay on until 2031. Now Sikana Omodia signing is close to about 29 million euros, and that 29 million euros I don't think say Barcelona betray Sikana outright because we all know the financial situation that the club find themselves in. I'm pretty sure said they will amortize it based on the number of years our signing. So till 2031, they will spread it throughout that period. And in terms of new wages, I don't think it will cross even more than 90,000 euros. Because when you look at the offer that Marcus Rashford now Barcelona for Person Muyemana, it was very difficult to reduce the player's wage from £850,000 and now Oji Ewo. Manchester United. So comparatively, when you look at the two players, look at the wage demand, it makes more sense to go in for Karim Adeyemi. Now, Karim Adeyemi as a football player, right? And you look at how his profile is, you can also compare him to Marcus Rashford and say that Marcus Rashford can give you exactly what Karim Adeyemi also gives you. So if you want to look at the two players and their wages, and you compare the two players and how they play, and you can get something from Karim Adeyemi, right? And you can get that same thing in Marcus Rashford. It makes more sense to go for Karim Adeyemi. And you look at the influence of Hansi Flick as well. He was one of the players who really, groomed Karim Adeyemi, especially for the German national team. So you do realize that those are some of the influences that has brought Karim Adeyemi this far. And I think it's a very good piece of business. Barcelona for the player. So let's keep our eyes on Karim Adeyemi because in this particular season, I think he'll be a very good addition for a Barcelona team. Now, in the last 1 hour, Chelsea have confirmed that there's some agreement in terms of talks between Crystal Palace and themselves for the signature of Maxence Lacroix. That story has been trending for the last few days, and it's been some back and forth, but Palace for chairman I friend Steve Parish on a Chelsea from Pennyphone in New York, and they've been having discussions about the player. It looks like at this point there's something very close. Of course, personal terms have been agreed between the club and the player. Until as of now, it is between the club and Chelsea Football Club. That's Crystal Palace and Chelsea for to see what deal they could make for a player, and what amount in terms of transfer value they will place on a player. And I think that is the genesis of the conversation that is happening between the two clubs right now, because the transfer fee, very important. I can agree. Crystal Palace would want to make the most out of this particular deal because Saoirse Maxence Lacroix and Adia Obe with Chelsea, the kind of profile that he has, that Xabi Alonso needs him. He's not just that ball playing centre back. He's that player who gives you a lot of numbers in terms of how he's able to keep his composure and he's able to win the ball off defenders. And that statistic, Adia, Chelsea for share in Xabi Alonso looked at very carefully and said that no, it's important to go for this player, your friend Maxence Lacroix. So let's keep our eyes on it. In the next 24 hours there, I think we'll get a confirmed deal that will bring Maxence Lacroix from Crystal Palace to Chelsea, and I think that would be a very good deal. Also, in the last, should I say 30 to 45 minutes, Arsenal and Newcastle United have agreed a deal to bring in Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle to Arsenal. And when you look at it very closely, it looks like The personal terms have been agreed. So Bruno G has agreed personal terms with Air Arsenal. Now, what Arsenal want to do right now is that they want to prepare a bid of close to about 82 million euros. Now, that 82 million euros, no, that is what may get them to cross the line to get Newcastle to accept a bid, because already there was one bid that was turned down. And when you look at it very closely, Arsenal, for one person, they do everything to get across the line because Chelsea was also chasing the same player. And after Morgan Rogers deal, no, Entimian go through for Arsenal. Arsenal are very careful about the deals that they make for prospective players. And at this point, no, I can agree that they don't want anything to go wrong with this particular Bruno G transfer. No? And in the coming, episodes, I'll explain Bruno G and how he can fit into that Arsenal midfield and turn things around for them. Because if Martin Odegaard, per expectation, say on call in this particular transfer window, if he stays, it means that Martin Odegaard, Bruno G, that midfield with Martin Zubimendi, a lot of things are going to change in that Arsenal setup. They have a very combative Bruno G. Even on and off the ball, he's one of the most brilliant players that you can have in your setup to help you to win games. So let's keep our eyes on Bruno G from Newcastle United to Arsenal. Now, there are so many other things happening, but at this point, I really wish that you would subscribe. Please subscribe to our channel. Turn on your post notifications. If I get any updates and I drop it, you would be one of the first people to have full knowledge about it. Now, then also there are some questions on Casemiro dealer or free Man United called Inter Miami. There are quite a number of conversations that are happening over there. We are keeping our eyes on it. It looks like there were some questions being raised, and there are investigations that are being conducted into the deal to ascertain whether or not it was a very legitimate deal at US authorities for an year. At this point, as we speak, Casemiro already has completed that deal from Manchester United to Inter Miami on a free transfer. However, it looks like there are some questions involved in how the deal was completed into US authorities for to make sure that there was a clean deal that was done over there to bring a brand here friend Casemiro from Manchester United to Inter Miami. Now, another big news, and it's a brand here friend Manu Kone Aboniboma Roma of the French national team. And so he is on a verge of agreeing personal terms with Manchester United. Now, we already know Manchester United, they are bolstering their squad, especially their midfield area. Already know Mato, a brand here, friend Andre Santos from Chelsea for £50 million. And they also went on to buy Yuri Tielemans from Aston Villa, completed that deal. And now they have agreed personal terms with Manu Kone of AS Roma. Now, what is left is that Manchester United for they offer to AS Roma for table. So, in request, say Obitimi a player every AS Roma for squad to come and join Manchester United. So that is the news coming from Abranten and Sunasue. Now, there's a breaking news via Airba. Breaking news exclusive from John Harriota on in some training in Britain, and there's a lot of things happening as far as Chelsea is concerned. Now, the airbar from Chelsea for Nassoye is that they have ended their pursuit of Adam Wharton. Obekaya made a brand a few days ago that Chelsea were looking for the signatures of Adam Wharton, Bruno Guimaraes, and also Alex Scott as one of the midfield reinforcements. Now, as it stands now, Adam Wharton of Crystal Palace, Chelsea have discontinued their search for Adam Wharton, according to John Harriot. Now, Muntie the Eba, Crystal Palace have made their position very clear during talks over Maxence Lacroix. Wharton will not be sold for anything less than 100 million. There had been previously a gentleman's agreement around the 75 million mark, but after the recent Rodgers and Anderson transfers, Steve Parish, our chairman of Crystal Palace, says that he has changed his stance and he has refused to entertain anything below 9 figures. So you can see the repercussions or the implications of Morgan Rogers' deal, right? For a player who has been signed for £117 million. You also look at Elliot Anderson transfer from Nottingham Forest to Manchester City for £160 million. Now, a lot of club managers are changing their stance on how much their players must go for, depending on the market for those players. And to be sure, at this point currently, Adam Wharton, a player, even many clubs are looking for him, not just Chelsea. And at this point, Steve Parish does not want to settle for anything less than £100 million for Adam Wharton. And if that is the case, it doesn't look like Chelsea would want to go and splash all that money for Adam Wharton. To spend more than 200 million I don't think there's something that Chelsea for no would want to do at this point. So that is why, according to John Harriott, no, or see Chelsea's interest in Adam White no could end. But what does that mean? It means say at this point Chelsea would have to go for either Bruno G and Alex Scott, or one of them. And you can see that Chelsea may want to look or focus on Alex Scott, because at this point Bruno G, so I agree personal terms with Arsenal. It's left with Arsenal to be quick to send in a bid for the signature of the player to Newcastle. It leaves Chelsea with no option than to focus all in on Alex Scott. Of course, Chelsea Fono can hijack the deal for Bruno G. It is not something new. But then I think it also depends on Chelsea Fono management, you know, from Xabi Alonso, the head coach, and the manager, to other influences, especially Bedad Egbalia, and also lead conversations, you know, in terms of the transfer. So I honestly think that there's a lot of things to be done here, and Chelsea Fono would want to be very, 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 very cautious. But the priority is to sign Bruno G and Alex Scott and sell Enzo Fernandez. Now, Chelsea Fono are under huge pressure to sell Enzo Fernandez. In fact, news coming in just about 3 to 4 hours ago is that it's very likely, say, the UK visas of both Lautaro Martinez and Enzo Fernandez may be revoked, and it's specifically based on Nyema Omukoye during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Omuko raises her banner, stating the fact, say, the Falkland Islands belongs to Argentina, and Adeyemi Aba. And it looks like at this point the UK government are looking at taking action against them, and it could go as far as their UK visas being revoked. So in that situation, it looks like Enzo Fernandez may become a nuisance to Chelsea. As to whether that is true, a lot will depend on what comes out from the news in the next few hours. But if what I heard John Harriott is anything to go by, it looks like Bruno G and Alex Scott have become priorities for Chelsea. And if they manage to get these two players, then there will be the liberty and the freedom to allow Enzo Fernandez to go. But what club may Enzo Fernandez sign for? That is the big question. And I think, say, in the next few hours, we will see whether it is something that may happen. Indeed, these are the stories from the transfer market. And I think, say, I was say, very, very alert, because so many moves are happening behind the scene now. Be back to the fore when the days keep going. You be more of the deals that are coming off. But me patrol, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Let's turn it on post notification, and I believe me dropping new video you'll be one of the first people to receive it. Into Macramo, I'll come back with more updates in the next few hours. The transfer market is now very, 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 very active, and I'm here to bring you all the updates. Until I come your way again, I'll see you in the next